page 92. Now we're going to use this example to show you how to do a complete forecasting using time series. Okay. Now they want us to calculate the centered average. Okay. Now why use centered? Because it's midpoint. And you know why it must be in midpoint? Because we say that the trend is in the middle. Okay. That if 4-quarter average is used. Now, but you know when you are using a 4-quarter average, it's even number. You will never get a midpoint. That's why it's expected that you have to do twice the averaging. Okay? You have to average 2 times. Okay? And then calculate the adjusted average seasonal variation. Now there are 3 things we're going to do here, because they're asking for seasonal variation. That's one. And you know how to find seasonal variation. You just take y minus t or y divide t. Okay? But once you've got the seasonal variation, we will then need to average it. Then we adjust it. So there'll be 3 stages that we need to do. Okay, so seasonal variation, average, then adjust. Okay, then you will do it twice because they want you to do using both the additive model, multiplicative model. Okay, now I just want to show twice, both the techniques are what you're going to do. Okay, then whatever we've calculated, we need to do a forecast for the next 5 quarter beginning from 2014 quarter 1. So that's the last thing that we need to do. That's where the forecasting comes in. Okay, so I will do it here, okay, straight in this table, so that you can see how we use the moving average. Alright, then how we do the seasonal variation. Okay, now again, in exam, if they will ask you, I strongly believe examiner will give you the trend by giving you the equation. Not like that, okay? But I'm just trying to discuss a complete example with you. Okay, so we start with 4-quarter moving total. Then we find 4-quarter moving average. Then we find 8-quarter moving average, which will be the trend. So you have to start. We do together, please, okay? Because I might make careless mistake along the way. So please tell me if I'm wrong. Don't tell me after I finish. Okay? If you see wrong, straight away stop me. If not, no lunch. $177,200. $185,600. $1,897. $194,200. $200,700. $205,800. equal to 700 to 308. Okay, so I will just divide it by 4 first to get the moving average. Okay, so that's my 4-quarter moving average. Okay, to get the 8-quarter average, you have to add them up, then divide it by 2 again. I think some will have decimal point, so I think I will just round it 45350. 46913. Okay, I'm just rounding it, rounding it to the nearest. 47425. So 47988. Okay, so with the trend figures that we've calculated, we will now be able to find seasonal variation. Alright, now so I need both the additive and multiplicative model. So under the additive model, S is y minus t, y divide t. Okay. Now, so again, I'm just using the table as a more convenient way of getting the figure that I need. Okay. So 40600. Now minus it is negative 4750. Negative 8913. $10,812. $2937. Negative 5713. Negative 7950. $9337. And the last one, $3612. Check my figure. Correct? Any mistake? No. No, I carry on. Okay, if it's under multiplicative, we just divide it over. So 40,006 0.895. 38 divide 46. 0.810. $1.225. $1.059. $0.888. $0.848. $1.171. $1.064. Okay, so we are now half complete for the forecasting. Okay, but before we do the forecasting, now normally this is one of the more technical steps that we do, that they want you to find average adjusted seasonal variation. Okay, why is there a need for this average adjusted seasonal variation? Because we look at it in this manner. When you want to forecast something, let's say for example, I want to forecast 2014 quarter 2. Then I must get the trend for 2014 quarter 2. Now how do you get trend for 2014 quarter 2? Now one way, the easier one, like I say just now, is if the question gave you the trend equation, like what we did just now, we calculated this figure. Okay, where is it? Here. Okay. Now if we have calculated what's the trend equation, then you can use the value for 2014 quarter 2 and then find the value. So you just take this plus this times whatever value. Then you've got 2014 quarter 2. Then you must add or you multiply with seasonal variation for quarter 2. Now because season is the same one, that's why every quarter you have one season. Okay, so if you see like whatever we calculated here, you probably realize that quarter 1 is an up season, and you can see that this seasonal variation we got about 10,000. Now, but this 2013 quarter 1, although it's still an up season, but the value is about 9,000 plus. So it fluctuates around there. Okay. Now, so this is the problem that we have. So if I want to predict, forecast the sales of quarter 2, which seasonal variation do I take? Do I take 2937 or do I take 3612? Although it's more or less we know it's around there, but do we take the 29 or 36? Now, because we do not know which one to take, because they are different value, that's why the mathematical solution when you have this type of situation is you take average. You take the average, you average it first, then you take it. So that's why we need you to find what is the average seasonal variation. So the logic is, how do you average? Now, very simple one. 2937 plus 3612 divide by 2, the average again. Okay. Now, so but how do you do adjust? So this adjust is what? So I'll do it here in the table. So I can't use that page anymore. Okay. We have quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. And based on, sorry, I need to do twice. So this is under the additive model. Okay, the 11, 12, and 13, my seasonal variation is negative 475 8913. Okay, so you just total them, divide them over, you will get the average. So 10,812 divided by 2. Now this is my average seasonal variation. So if you don't mind, I round it as well. So I get 10,075 negative 463 divided by 2 is negative 5232. Right, then the last one will be negative 16863. So divided by 2 is 8432. Okay, now what we're going to do next is how to do the adjustment. Okay, we will take all the seasonal variation value that we have here, add them all together. Now when you add them all together, let's see what value do we get. Now we got 314. Okay, okay. And why are we adding up all them together? Now, because we say, if you focus on extremely long term, that means you put yourself, you step backward, see far away. You look at the long term picture that you cannot see any more seasonal variation. There's only a trend. Just like when you zoom in, you can see up, down, up, down. But when you zoom out and take very far away, you cannot see all the small details. You just see one line only. That's what we're trying to say. So in long term, when you have your seasonal variation effect all cancel out each other, that means one up, one down, effectively in the long run, the up and down will cancel off each other. The effect will become disappeared. Now when the effect disappears, if there's no more seasonal variation, what will happen? Y become T. There's no more S, it's just Y become T. So if Y is equal to T, then you think and see, if they become equal, S must be Y minus T, S must be 0. So mathematically, that's how we interpret it for you. That in the long run, when the effect of seasonal variation is not there, when everything combine and cancel out each other, then Y equals to T. So S must carry 0 value. But you see here, the value was not 0, which obviously it's the mathematical effects. Okay, so that's why we just say that treat this as some random factor, some any other fluctuation that we have not accounted for. So what we do, right, is we just say put this to 0. Now this is how we adjust lah. And why 0? Because you want to achieve this effect. You put this to 0. Then how do you put that 314 back to your seasonal variation? Now normally we will say just divide them. Okay, just average them out to all the season. So if you take 314 divided by 4, you get 78.5. So you get 78.5. Again, since I've been rounding, I just round all the way. Okay, so I will add 79, 79, 79. So I think you should know that the last figure cannot be 79 because of the rounding effect. So I will just take the balancing figure, 77. Okay. Okay, so my adjusted average seasonal variation will be Now, so as far as what the question wants us to do, we've got it done. Okay, that's your answer. But this answer must get from the seasonal variation you have in the table. But only done with additive model. So let's do once more for the multiplicative model. Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. So class, if it's a multiplicative model, your value will be 0.895, 0.81, 1.225, so we're going to do the same, please. We add it up and then divide it over. Okay, 1.225. Okay, 2.396 divided by 2. 1.198. Now I'm rounding it again. 2.123 divided by 2. Now class, you're going to do the same thing now. You add up all the value together. You will get it as 3.981. Okay. Just now when you add up the seasonal variation, you've got it as 314, and we say we must make it to 0. But what about this in multiplicative model? Now, again, when there is no seasonal variation, y equals to t. And you must understand, if y equals to t, s is derived by y divide t. So when they are equal, right, s become 1. Okay, s will become 1. So the value of every season when there's no more seasonal variation must equals to 1. So if you got 4 seasons, the value should come to 4. So the adjustment that we do is we want to make this into 4. So how to make this into 4? 3.981 minus 4, it will be 0.019. Now, 0.019 divided by 4 is going to be 0.005. I got to round it because it's 0.00475. So we take 0.05, 0.05, 0.05, and again my last figure is rounding, balancing. So the balancing will be 0.0. Okay, so this is my adjusted average seasonal variation. So 1 point. That's 0.005. Okay, so you've got all done with it. Okay, I'm going to do the last step. Part C, the forecasting. Okay, what do you do now in the forecasting? Now, to forecast for A, okay, I just give an idea lah. To forecast for A, you must take trend at A plus or minus the season. Okay, plus or multiply the season. Sorry. So what is the A that we have here? The A is the future period that you are having. Example, like I want the 2014 quarter 1. Okay, I want the 2014 quarter 1. Now, but if you look at the question, the last trend value stop at where? Stop at here. That was the last trend value. Stop at 2013 quarter 2 only. So what is my value here, and go on? Now that one I don't know. So when I don't know, it starts at 2013 quarter 2. So what I need to extrapolate the trend. Okay, that's what I have to do. I need to extrapolate the trend. Okay, how do you extrapolate the trend? Now, we take your last trend, add with the average trend change. Okay, we take the last trend, we add with the average trend change. Now you see just now, again it's just the understanding we had earlier. Sorry, I go back to this. Now if you have worked out the trend equation as 31754 plus 3738Q, this 3738 is the average trend change. Every time when you increase 1 quarter, the trend will change by 3738. But this one is you have already worked out the value. That's why you know the quarter will increase by 3738, 3738, 3738. So now the difference is we do it terbalik. Terbalik in the sense that you have calculated the trend, you don't have the equation, but you ask yourself, on average every quarter, what's the change on average? Because this method you realize that the change is not the same one, they fluctuate. Okay, so we're saying on average. So on average is what? Now on average is the first trend is 45350. The last trend is 56688. How much has the trend increased over the period? Then you divide it over. Now, so this is what I'm going to do. So my average trend change is 56688 divide by 45350. Can follow or not? You are taking the last one with the first one, you minus. So that's the change. The change either go up or go down one. Okay, so in this case, the trend is going up. That's why it's getting higher. But from the last one, the first one until the last one, how many trend has they moved? Now, how to calculate? Like that is one time, no? Correct, no? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, divide by 7. That means we are saying on average 1 quarter the trend is increasing by 1620. On average, okay? 1 quarter the trend is increasing by 1620. So class, you see the last trend stopped at 2000 quarter 2, right? And that trend was 56688. So you add 1620 become quarter 3. Correct. You add 1620 become quarter 4. I want to forecast 2014, right? So that's where the value come in. So now for 2014, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, my extrapolated trend as well as 2015 quarter 1 will be what? Now please just add only 56688 61548 63168 64788 66408 68028. You understand? You are just adding it, that on average you are increasing it by 1620. Okay. So if you are using additive model, class, you just have to add or minus. So add I forgot to put the minus sign just now. Okay, now the total I leave it for you. So this will be the extrapolated trend. These are the results. So the seasonal variation, you add them, that's the forecast. Okay. Now if you are using additive, that's what you do. Now if you are using multiplicative, what you do then is you multiply with whatever value you have here, and then you get the answer. Okay. Now, so I leave you with the final answer. Now, so that's it on the technique. So I'm just discussing with you the technique. So again, class, I don't think it's an extremely important topic, but it's a topic you need to know. So I will spend some time. So that's why we discuss this. Okay, page 93 got one example. This is the old question from the old syllabus called ACCA 2.4. You can try this example. The answers are at the back. You just go and try, and then check the answers on your own. Okay. Okay. Let's go on to chapter 7. Okay, now we are going into one more area of decision making, but this area is more specific, that we only discuss about pricing decision. Okay, now we would like you all to have an idea, like when you need to set selling price of your product. Now obviously selling price is one of the important decision in business, because end of the day, when a good or a service is exchanged or transferred over, the medium of exchange is the price, that the amount they pay you. So that's why it's going to be a very critical factor. We believe that if your price is set wrongly, it will affect you substantially. So that's why you must take into account the price carefully. Okay. Now, so obviously when we look at pricing, alright, we will need to know what are the factors that will influence your selling price. Okay. And obviously people will tell you that the key reason is demand and supply. Okay. So why the petrol price is falling, the crude oil? So they are, of course, they are saying that like maybe US is the one behind speculating or manipulate. Of course, people can manipulate price, but again, to manipulate, you must have fundamentals. Now, the fundamentals is the movements in the economy that cause the price to fluctuate. Now, the price for the oil has always been going up because they say that demand is bigger than supply. And everyone know oil can finish on, correct? No? And they say China is growing every year. And they are growing in a very fierce mode, very fast. So China is a big consumer of oil. So that's why price go up. So production is not as high as your demand. So that's why the price go up. But China start to slow down. So now the GDP in China is getting lower. So the data also show that their factory production output is slowing down. So because of the slowdown, people start to have a fear that the economy will not be that strong. Then demand is not there. Now you got no people buy your stock. You have delivery, you got no delivery, you don't use oil. The demand falls. So eventually it will have a fall. Now then they have this problem in US that they have this shale oil production, that they can produce a different type of oil, because oil normally we suck from the sea. So that's one type. Then they do a shale oil. So when they do a shale oil production, now demand has dropped, supply has increased. So effectively that economy model, you learn about equilibrium. Okay, so that's why prices start to fall. So that was the reason. And now price start to increase. Today petrol price increased 25 cents. I look at this very ridiculous. Petrol price was at $130, and it start to drop until $50 over. So the government say petrol price drop lah. So we reduce the price for you. So from 210, is it? The highest is 210. Correct. Then they cut by, I don't know how much they cut. They cut twice, They cut twice. So cut until 190. Is it 190? 170. 170. That was $130. Dropped to $50 over. They cut by only 40 cents. Now petrol price increased back a little bit only, From 50 over, they only increased to 61, 62 only. But they increased 20 cents, 25 cents, 20 cents. So I don't understand how our Malaysia formula works. Very, very funny. Okay. But anyway, come back to this. So we realize that you got to understand what influence price in your business, so that you must be sensitive to all these factors, so that whenever you see the factors are changing, you must play around with the price. Okay. Now, besides demand, supply as the main issue, we always think that customer as well as attitude make a lot of difference. Okay. Now, why customers and attitude makes a lot of difference? Now, example like the bargaining power of your customer. Okay. So, do you serve a big market that the customers are very individual, or do you serve a market that the customers are very united? Because if they unite against themselves, then they have bargaining power. They can tell you that you don't reduce price, I don't buy from you. Because okay? So this is how the power going to be. That's why you see the petrol price is more or less controlled like what? Like for example, the Middle East country produce petrol. Then they have this body called OPEC. OPEC. Okay? So OPEC is the body that decides they want to produce more or produce less. So they've been asking OPEC to cut production. They say you don't cut production, then petrol price will fall. But then OPEC asks, why must be me? You ask Malaysia to cut. You ask US to cut. Why ask me? Every time when petrol price fall, ask me to cut. So they say we will not cut. Drop also we don't cut. We produce the same amount, we will sell. We sell cheaper. So they're very stubborn. They say we won't cut. Why they don't want to cut? Because they say we cut only, then you all keep selling, then I sell less, right? Then who make loss? So they make loss. So that's why OPEC say we won't cut. So every time when they say they don't cut, the petrol price fall further. And when they fall further, they even say fall until $20, so they won't cut. Because they still can make profit. So that's why they insist. But obviously their strategy was very smart. Because this is called Chinese say 同归于尽, okay, a predatory strategy, that we will do this strategy, we just sell at this price until both sides suffer and see who die first. So that was their strategy, and obviously they won't die because their cost of producing petroleum is very cheap because they suck from the sea, the sand there is liquid form. The processing cost is very cheap, so that's why they can make profit even the price is very, very low. But the US one start to die first. That's why now US, a lot of petrol company that do the shale oil start to close down already. So when they start to close, they win already. That's why now petrol price slowly will go up. So eventually will go up. Okay. Now, so this is again come back to customer. So customer will have a bargaining power. So it depends on whether your customer is very dispersed or they are very concentrated. They are very united. Okay. And we know that attitude of customer also make a lot of difference. Okay. Now why attitude of customer make a lot of difference? Now for example, like you see LV for instance, you know LV started off in China as a very important brand, and a lot of Chinese in China buy LV as a way of showing their social status, that see I'm rich, I buy LV. That's why LV made a huge amount of profit in 2000. The beginning of year 2000. But now LV in China has experienced a drop in sales. People don't want to buy LV in China. Why? Because economy not good. There's no rich people. There's always rich people. Where got no rich people? The rich people do not want to use LV. It's because they say LV like pasar malam bag. You agree or not? You look at Malaysia, LV not pasar malam. Any uncle auntie go pasar buy vegetable, the bag also LV one. Of course it's fake lah, but it's still LV, right? You imagine you hold a bag that associate with these are people, so they don't want. So all the rich people say we have no status, very malu. I carry the bag, the one go vegetable also carry the same bag. That's why now they don't want to buy this brand. They say this brand is called medium class. Wow, you feel very hurt. Oh, you all feel very hurt because I also cannot buy it. Chinese, the rich, medium class. Now they go for even more high end. Okay, that for example they want to have tailor-made bags and so on. So that's their market, that attitude. Okay, so every time when you have a change in consumer behavior, it will affect pricing as well because they don't like, they have no appealing power. Then you realize that your demand will drop. So it's again demand supply. Okay. Now we also think besides the customer, competitor play an important role in your pricing. Okay. See, like I've told you just now, OPEC say they will not cut production. They will insist that they will produce enough, they will supply enough to the market, and they will let the price fall. See, their strategy, their reaction to the market. So competitor will create a pricing influence. For example, like if competitor decided to stage a price war. So every time when AirAsia do promotion, you see Malaysia Airlines also do promotion. Because if AirAsia do promotion, Malaysia Airlines don't do, then Malaysia Airlines sales become very bad. So they always like that one. It's a reaction, okay? But again, it's obviously up to you to decide. Do you want to fight back? There are people that they don't want to fight back. They don't want to retaliate. Now, for example, like I buy this oat for my mom to drink called BG22. You got hear before, no? They advertise a lot one, that they say it's good for heart, good for cholesterol. Now, this BG22 was the premier brand, the one that started in the market first. So they have got their market share. A lot of people know this brand, BioGrow BG22. So now when this brand was starting as the first one, and the profit margin was very good, okay? It was a cheap thing, but they can sell one can at 50 over ringgit, 60 over ringgit, so the margin was very good. So the rest of the company, all what they do? They come out with their own one and they fight one. That's why now you go all pharmacy, you just look at all these oat, wow, so many, agree or not? So how BG22 fight? Now, this brand all come out with their cheaper version. 40 over ringgit also got, 30 over ringgit also got. You're 55, whoa. Who wants to buy your product? So that's why they have to retaliate. Now, you can do the same thing, reduce your price. So 55, I sell 40. But then if you do like that, then in long run, what will happen to the market? And then market will become spoiled. Like for example, what college buy one free one, buy one free two. This is our strategy. If all colleges also buy one free one, buy one free three, buy one free 10 like that, well then what industry is this? So that's why eventually you may not want to join them. That's why this BG22 start with what? A different strategy. I give you free gift. Now they have the travel pack. So I still sell 55 ringgit. But this travel pack, I give you about, don't know how many packets, 4 to 8, I think something like that, is worth about 10 ringgit. So I put it together. So now you still buy at 55. But after the free gift, you will feel the cost is lower to you, right? Yo, last time 55, now 55 also, but got free gift, add together, it's about 40 ringgit. The new brand also 40 ringgit. Which one do you buy? You continue to buy. I think this is how pricing is taken into account as a result of competitor. But obviously in the long run, the effect is competitor that cannot sustain, they have to quit the market. And when they quit the market, then this guy will withdraw the free gift, and don't worry, they will punish you. They will increase back the price. Last time was 55, you take free gift already. Next time will become 65, no free gift. Because the extra 10 ringgit is the cost of the free gift. Because they have to earn back their money. Now this is an example of how competitor is taken into account. Okay. Now that cost is obviously a reason that the product is made in a country that the cost base is lower, is always cheaper. Now that's why you see like compare if product that is made in China, product that is made in UK. You cannot compare these two products, because you know that obviously the one made in China has to be cheap. Because the labor cost there is cheap, the overheads there is cheap. Okay. Now that's why a lot of companies go to China and set up factory. So this is the main reason. Now we also think that foreign exchange exposure affects your pricing. Now how that forex affects pricing? That this is back to economy, but the effect is very easy to understand. Now let's say now my exchange rate is 2 ringgit 60 cent to 1 Sing dollar. Okay. You sell apple in Malaysia, 2 ringgit 60 cent. This apple, same apple you sell in Singapore, is $1 right now. Okay. So now you buy the apple in Malaysia or Singapore, there's no difference. There's really no difference because it's the same. Suddenly the exchange rate start to move. Now when the exchange rate start to move, assuming that ringgit devalue, now 1 Sing dollar is 280. Which apple is cheaper now? Malaysia apple or Singapore apple? Cheaper, or who is cheaper? Malaysia apple is cheaper. Because if you are Singaporean, right, you bring 1 Sing dollar, you get 280 ringgit. Then you pay 260 for the apple, you still got 20 cents left for. But you take Your money ringgit, go to Singapore, buy Apple, 2 ringgit 60 cannot buy. Because you don't even get $1. Because you know, so that's why Malaysian Apple become cheaper. So when Malaysian Apple become cheaper, obviously demand will come to you. People will start to buy your Apple. Now, but if you're in Singapore, right, you want to export your product, and you realize that people are not buying your product because you're more expensive as a result of the exchange rate. So what do? You have no choice, you will cut price. So if you start cutting the price, then people will come back to you. You know? That's why when you want to have a strong economy, you will have to sell something that other people got no substitute on. For example, you do plantation, you got apple, I got apple. If the exchange rate drop, I must drop the price. You know? If not, people won't buy my apple. So that's why if you want to go to a strong, build-up economy, you must sell something that people cannot replicate. For example, you sell what? Sell service. Now, service is a kind of industry that because it's me, that's why it's different. So even when the price is high, you must still come back to me because there's no one can replace me. You know? For example, medical. If I tell you that we got superb medical, the doctor here very good one. No matter how expensive, you still come, right? Now that's the difference. So that's why we are trying to fight on that model. So that's why how you see economy go to a stage where you become a developed nation, you will start to look into provision of services. Now anyway, come back to this. This is how Forex affect pricing, that you will have to change so that you can maintain your competitiveness. Now we think product life cycle is also a reason. Now depending on what product you're selling, okay, but typically we tell you product go through 4 stages, that they are introduced to the market, they grow, they mature, and they die. Okay. Now normally if you see technological product, it's very obvious that you will see all the 4 stages. For example, you see like your iPhone, okay, or your Samsung. First they start, wow, people all crazy, then the sales pick up. But after some time, then you see that the sale was steady already. Then once this model go outdated, people don't buy. Immediately it drop. You know? Now it will be go through 4 stages. And normally pricing will reflect which stage are you and what kind of product are you. Like for example, if technology product, I think logic you should know. Technology product, when they're new, they're expensive or they're cheap? Expensive markets, you know. But once you come towards the end stage, where people do not want the technology, the product price become very cheap. Because you know, that's how pricing and life cycle affects you. Now we also think that strategy is an issue. Okay, we also think strategy is an issue. Now why strategy is an issue? It depends on how you want to price your product. Like what kind of example, your image that you want to position. Now some people want to position themselves as premium pricing. Okay, they make themselves more expensive. They claim that they are high end. Alright, they claim that they are high end. That's why you see like there are companies that they do not want to spoil their market. So they need to come up with different types of brand. Okay, so that's why you realize that all these so-called luxury goods and merchandise, they actually belong to the same company, but they come up with different brand tier. And the reason why they do that is because they want to tap different market. They cannot have the same market. Like Guess also got what Guess Kids lah, and then you find that AX also got what Armani lah, then Giorgio Armani lah, then the Exchange lah. So you realize that the purpose they do that is because they want to have tier. Like your Malaysian brand Bonia also got, right? Like Bonia lah, Carlo Reno, it's all under the same company. The Buffalo brand is called what? Yeah, the brown buffet is also under Bonia. Just that you I don't know whether you know or not, okay, but it's owned by Bonia. Alright, so you'll be thinking that this wow, very good brand, you know. Then Bonia, alamak, Bonia, what is Bonia? It's the same company. Then you feel different. That's because their positioning, that is their marketing strategy. Look at our taxi, the blue color one, very expensive one. Then they go up, you pay more, but the taxi driver claim to be more polite, that they don't cut your throat, they use meter, then they say that they are more professional. So you want, then you pay. That is how strategy makes a difference in pricing. It's what you want to do to position yourself. Now, we also think quality is definitely an issue. That how you want to come up with the quality standard to reflect your price, which we always think that cheap things are never good. Okay, then good things are never cheap. So if they want to come up with a product that the look and feel is good, the quality is good, then they will price higher. Okay, so it's about how price reflects quality. Okay, next page. It's issue of ethics, okay, on pricing. All right, issue of ethics on price. Look at now when the government say we reduce petrol price. Petrol price go up, your wanton mee, all right. Then your food, everything, your satay, all go up one, right? They tell you why? Your gas expensive. Oh, wow, the noodle they send also expensive. Everything expensive. That's why whenever price go up, they go up. The Milo ice also go up, correct? No? The petrol price increased 20 cents. Milo ice increased 10 cents per bottle. I mean per cup. Wow, that's crazy, right? The thing doesn't match, but they go up. Petrol price go down, what they do? They maintain. Now tomorrow go up again. Tomorrow, I see petrol price go up. Wow, Milo increase another 10 cents. Why is it crazy, right? So this is people's what? Ethics. It's about their greed. So it's whether they want to earn more or earn less. So that's the problem, especially small business or like that. Okay, so that's the issue about ethics. Now we also think the long-term direction, which obviously is to do with strategy as well. Okay. Now example I would share, like for instance like ACCA and their pricing strategy. Okay. Now ACCA, when they release a catalog, if you realize they show you this is the yearly catalog. Now it's called a yearly catalog because this is a catalog for the whole year. So when they give you a yearly catalog, then they will indicate the price, right? And what is their pricing strategy? They always tell you this is the highest price they sell. They never increase price, they only reduce. Now that is their direction. They want to give consumer this kind of image that when you buy my things, right, it will only become cheaper. You don't have to worry about what if next time become more expensive. So today I sell this as 30 ringgit. Next year maybe it become 28 because we do cost saving exercise. Now that is example of long-term direction. How you want to do this is part of your strategy. Okay. Now finally, your sales volume. Because to us, we think your sales volume will help you to achieve economies of scale. So if you can do it in a big volume, then you can afford to achieve a lower cost. So when you have a lower unit cost, then obviously you can have lower price. Okay. Now these are some theory, very straightforward point. Okay, we're gonna start with this. We do this. In fact, you do this in F1. Okay. About price elasticity of demand. In fact, F1 you learn more. You learn about income elasticity. Okay. So different product elasticity. So we are just looking at price elasticity of demand. Okay. Now what is PED again? Now PED is a measure of two changes. Changes in the quantity demanded with changes in the price. That's why it's elasticity between price and demand. That's why we are looking at the change in the price and the change in the demand. Okay. Now how do you calculate price elasticity of demand again? Now, the formula is we take percentage change in the quantity demanded divide by the percentage change in the price. Okay. So if I tell you, for example, if I change the price by 10%, demand will change by 12%. Then you will say demand will change by 12% when price change by 10, right? Now then PED is 1.2. Now this is what we call as PED. Okay. And obviously when we measure PED, we always put a negative in the front. Now why there's always a negative in front of the PED? Because we are trying to tell you that they are negatively correlated. So what is negatively correlated? Price and demand is negatively correlated. Okay. that when price go up, demand or quantity must go down. Okay, now that's the logic. All right, when price go up, demand goes down. Okay, and when price goes down, demand goes up. So that's how we put a negative in the front to represent that relationship. Okay, now I'm not interested with the calculation yet. Now we go back to some of the theory. Okay. See class, we have generally demand that either they are, we call elastic, or they are inelastic. Okay, so what do you mean by elastic and inelastic? That means we are looking at the change between price and demand. Which one is more? If the change in price is more than the change in demand, or if the change in demand is more than the change in the price. So that's how we call it as elastic and inelastic. Now, so we generally will measure it in this manner, that they can be unitary elastic. So unitary elasticity is the change in price and demand is the same. Okay? Now, so I will use graph at the back to show you. Okay? Now, let's say when the price is here, the demand is here. When the price drop, demand increase. Now, so you've got a line like that. So you see, at this price, this is the demand. And at this price, this is the demand. Okay. Now let's say if the change is 20%, that change is also 20%. Now I don't have to put amount, I just put percentage, 20, 20, okay? So this is where we say change in the price and demand is the same. So when the change in demand equals the change in the price, your PD will be 1. Okay? Now this is called unitary elasticity. Alright, this is called unitary elasticity. Now of course, even though you say PD is 1, you still need to put a negative in the front line, because you want to show the relationship between price and demand. Okay? Now, so we adjust a bit the line. Now I make this line a bit flatter, like put it to sleep like that. Okay, so we draw like that. Alright, you just make it flatter. Okay, so by changing the line into this manner, let's say this is my price, this is my demand. You just chincai draw that mind, okay? Now, this is the second price I have, and this is the second demand I have. Okay? So you notice now that the change in the price is much smaller than the change in the demand. I mean, you can see from the size. The change in demand is big, the change in price is small. So if you have a situation that the change in demand is bigger than the change in the price. Example, let's say my demand changed by 20% when the price changed by 10. Changed by 10. So when you use this to calculate PD, what is the PD figure you're going to get? Change in demand is 20, change in price is 10, the value is 2. Correct. Then of course I say you must put a negative there. So when you have a PD value, okay, you have a PD value that is bigger than 1. This is 1 only. But if the value is bigger than 1, let's say 1.2, 1.8, 2, 3, 10, doesn't matter. As long as it's bigger than 1, we say this is elastic. Okay? Follow? It becomes elastic. Okay. We make it so extreme now that it becomes completely flat, that it becomes like a horizontal line. Like that. Sorry. Okay. Now, when you have a line that looks like this, so what is that? Now, this is a situation that the price cannot change. That's why you only have one price in it. No matter what demand that they have, you cannot change the price of it. It's fixed. Okay? Now, if your price cannot change, that means the percentage change in price becomes 0. Okay? Percentage change in price becomes 0. So mathematically, change in demand divided by change in price, whatever value you have on top, you divide by 0, right, at the bottom. What do you get? You get 0. You cannot get a figure. 0 divide anything is 0. Anything divide 0 is not 0. Anything divide 0 is you cannot divide. That's why mathematically, if you take, for example, I take 5 divide 0. What do you get? You get error. You cannot, because mathematically you don't have this logic. How to divide into 0? You don't know how to. So that's why it cannot. So that's why this will become no value. So some will tell you that it's like an infinity value. There's no value. Okay? Because you cannot divide into 0. Now this is a situation that we call perfect elastic. Okay, it's called a perfect elastic. So I call this as number 3. Now that this so-called perfect elastic demand is a kind of PD that we tell you cannot change the price. That a slight change in price totally will be unacceptable. Okay, so that's called perfect elastic. Now we make the line steeper. Just now we take this line, we put it flat and let it slip. Now we want it to stand. So if you make the line stand, you put it steeper, right? Okay, we just draw a line which is steeper. Like that. Okay, not completely straight, but it's just steeper. See, class, when you make this line stands a bit steeper, now you see, this is the price that I have. Okay. Okay. That's the quantity that we have. Now you can see this diagram shows a complete opposite of diagram number 2. Just now, price, the change very small, demand, the change very big. Now the demand change is very small, the price change is very big. So this is a situation that percentage change in demand is less than the percentage change in price. For example, your price changed by 10%, demand only changed by 6. So when you take 6 divide 10, you realize that your PED become 0.6. Now of course you still put a negative there. Now this kind of PED, when the change in demand is smaller than the change in price, is called as inelastic. Okay, that this product, the price and demand is called inelastic. Now of course when the line becomes so straight that it's perfectly straight, that is standing straight vertically in the graph, that is like that. That shows no matter what price you sell, right, the demand won't change. Right? You increase the price, demand also the same. You increase some more, demand also the same. So this is a situation that the demand will not change regardless of the change in the price. The side change in demand will be 0. And of course, class, when change in demand is 0, that means you will say the change in demand is 0 divided by the change in the price divided by x. 0 divided by 5 is 0. 0 divided by 10 is also 0. Now that's why in this case, your PED becomes 0. So there's no more elasticity. So this is what we say perfectly inelastic. Okay, now class. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the 5 graph we have. So I just go back to page 97 and label the number so that you know which is which. Okay. So unit 3 is graph number 1 now. Then elastic is graph number 2. Perfectly elastic is graph number 3. Inelastic is graph number 4. Perfectly inelastic is graph number 5. So you can know the pattern. And these are things you never know if they ask you in objective question. They give you graph and they need you to comment about the graph. Okay? Alright, so go back to page 99. Okay, take a look at page 99. Now we will run through some numbers. Okay, I will do elast 1 with you, and then you try me elast 2. Okay? Okay, product F has a demand of 1 million unit when the selling price is at $300. The research suggests that if the price is increased to 318, demand fall to 950. So what's the PD? Now class, it's important you must see from where to where, because change is 1 point to 1 point. So if it's from 10 to 13, if you say 10 to 13, the change is $3. 13 to 10, the change also $3. But because we measure in percentage, it's different, you know. 10 to 13 is 30% increase. But if 13 to 10 is not 30%, you know, because 13 to 10 is 23%. That's why you are looking at the percentage. That's why you must know from where to where. From here to here is 30%. But from here to here is 23%. So where is the point that you measure? So that's why in the question now they tell you, now is $300, demand is 1 million now. And that they will increase it to 318. And that demand will fall to 950. Okay. So the percentage change in demand will be 50,000 out of 1 million. Alright, huh? Because from 1 million you change. So that will be how many percent? 50,000 out of 1 million. Then the percentage change in the price is 18 from 300. Now PED is change in demand over change in price. Is demand on top, price at the bottom. So if the change in demand is 5, price is 6. So it's 5 divide 6. So you will get the answer as negative 0.833. Now it's negative because we say the correlation is price goes up, demand falls. Now so this PED tells me is inelastic. You see only you know it is called inelastic, okay, because it's less than 1. Now so I've done one with you. You've done in F1 also. So we are just going through again in F5. Now do me illustration 2. Do for me A, B and C. Just do A, B, C first. Okay, it says that Breakthrough has developed a new product which is expected to be on sales the next period. The management accountant estimated that the sales demand of 200,000 unit, that's where they start 200,000 unit, when selling price is at 15. But then they say that if the selling price reduced to 13.95, demand would change by 21,000. Okay, so what is the PD? Now we want the formula again. PD is percentage change in demand, percentage change in the price. Now the change in demand is what? Now the change in demand is so straightforward, given already 21,000. But class, you change from where? Change from 200. That means your change will be 10.5%. And the price is 15 to 13.95. That means your change is 1.05 from 15. So that will be 7%. That means your PD will be 10.5 divided 7. So negative 1.5. Okay? So the negative 1.5, what does it mean? Every time when price change by 1, demand change by 1.5. Or when price change by 10, demand change by 15. Okay? So this is what 1.5 means. Okay. So what is the sales quantity if you increase price to $18? So how do you do this? Now, what you need to do is you ask yourself, increase to 18 is increase how many percent? Now, from 15 to 18, okay, from 15 to 18 is 3 out of 15, right? It's a 20% change in price. Okay, it's a 20% change in price. Now, 1.5 equals to, because the PD is 1.5, so 1.5 equals to, what's the formula? Change in demand over price, right? That means X over 20. So if it's X over 20, then X must be what? Must be 30. Only when you're 30 divide 20, you get 1.5. So X is 30. 30 means 30%. Because it's based on percent. So 20 is percent, 30 also percent. So 30 is percent. Now if you know that 30 is percent, meaning if price goes up, okay, price goes up 20%, demand do what? Fall by 30. Why must fall? Because it's negative correlated. So if demand fall by 30, that means you expect that the sales quantity become 200,000 will become 140,000 units. That's your answer, okay? So they ask you what's the effect when your selling price increase to 18. The effect is your volume drop to 140,000. Okay? Okay, now you go on to part C now. Now, what is the selling price if you want to raise the demand to 230? Now, you want to raise demand, which obviously to raise demand, you must reduce the price. So that's what you must do, you must reduce the price. But the question now is reduced by how much? Okay. Demand raised to 200, 230. 200 to 230 is how many percent? 15. 30,000 out of 200 is 15%. Okay, class, if you know the change is 15, then again, 1.5 is what? Demand change by 15. So 15 is on top. Price is X. Then X is what? %. So the new selling price is how much? 13.5. You must reduce the price one, because if price don't reduce, demand cannot go up. So that's why we know that the price must be 13.5. Okay? Okay, so this is how we do the normal thing. This is in fact what you learn in F1 if you recall. Okay? Now we do D now. I want you to think about how you want to solve D. Now I want you to give me what is the selling price when the demand become kosong. Okay, you need this later when we do price demand pricing. Okay, tell me what is the selling price when demand become kosong. Okay, that's how you do it. If you want to use the PD formula, then you have to do it this way. 1.5 equals to, now, what do you want to make 0? Demand, right? Demand is the one on top. How to make demand 0? 100%. From 200,000, drop 200,000, 100%. Then what is the change in X? It's about 66.67. And price must go up. This is about 66.67. So if your price goes up by 66.67 from 15, it become 25. So if this product you put $25, right, you cannot sell not even a unit. You have no more demand already. People won't buy. Okay. Now that's what we understand from PED. Now if you are using PED to calculate, this is what you can do. Okay. At the same time, I would like to share a different way of calculating, which you will learn later. Now, a different way of calculating is we take the current price plus the current demand divide by change in demand times change in the price. Okay, it's a very logical formula. All right, nothing very technical. Later I explain to you. Now current price is 15. Now 15. And at $15, the demand is 200,000. Every time when your demand change by $1.05, your quantity change by 21,000. Now you should get the same answer, 25. Okay, just that this is a different formula that you need to learn, alright, because you need to use them later. Now why the formula is like that? Now you will take a simple number so you can see. Now you sell $12. Demand is 20 units. And I tell you, each time you increase by $2, demand fall by 5 units. Now I make very simple number, okay? Now is $12, demand is 20. When you increase $2, demand will fall by 5. So tell me, at what price you got no more demand? So 12 go to 14. 20 will drop to 15, right? 14 go to 16. 15 will drop to 10. No? So you tell me how many times can you drop? 4 times only, right? If you can drop 4 times, and every time drop must increase by $2, that means 4 times 2 is $8. So what price got no demand? 20. No? So this is exactly the same formula we use here. That right now your price is 12 and demand is 20. And every time you change price by $2, demand will change by 5. That means 12 plus 8. So that was how we get the formula. It's actually the same thing. Just that this one you see it because it's a very small number. But here you see, you may not be able to imagine. Huh? Okay? Okay, so this is the issue that we know. So that's about PED. Now we go on and look at one last illustration here on how that PED will affect revenue when we have price changes. Okay, how does PED will affect revenue when we have price changes? Okay, Ion is presently selling product G at the selling price of $20 with a demand of 400,000 units. Ion is contemplating to reduce the price by either $2 or increase the price by either $2. Now the company is thinking, I want to cut price or increase price. Now of course when you cut price or increase price, you must know what's the effect to the business, right? So now one thing is, what is the effect on the revenue? Okay, quantify the effects on the demand and the sales revenue based on the proposed changes, assuming if PED is 1.8 and 0.6. Okay, now I'll do it here as well. Okay, now currently 20 times 400,000 is 8 million. Now class, we have two different situations. One is PED 1.8. Tell me, 1.8 is elastic or inelastic? Elastic. Okay. Okay, then you have the second situation, PED 0.6, which is inelastic. Now I will write down the space and you fill in the blank for me. Okay. right? So I've got everything here done for you. So you just help me to fill in the blank. 2 minutes you can get all the figure, okay? With PD 1.8 and 0.6. One is increased price, one is reduced price. Right, so increased price is $2. That means you'll be selling at 22. If reduced price also $2, that means you'll be selling at 18. Now in either case, your price is changing at 10%. Okay, the price is changing at 10%. So class, if PD is 1.8, when price change at 10, demand must change at. So change in demand and price equals to 1.8. If this is 10, this must be 18. Or else you cannot get 1.8. Huh? That means if you increase price, demand fall by 18. Okay? Demand will fall by 18. So 400,000, you will become 328,000. Okay? So you get your revenue as 7.216 million. Now what will be the demand be when you reduce price? You increase by 18% also. So if you increase by 18%, so you will get your quantity as 472 times 18. So you get 8.496 million. Okay? Okay, now on the other side, your price is 22 as well as 18. Okay, 22 as well as 18. Now, but this time you see is 0.6 class. So 0.6 equals to, now change in demand over change in price. the price change is 10, then what is X? 6. So here demand dropped 6%, here demand increased 6%. Okay. So if demand drops 6%, then 400,000, you will get 376. So you get 8.272. And then increase 6%, 400,000, you get 424. 7.632. Now why we do this so-called experiment? Because we want you to see that currently you are at 8 million. Okay? And when your demand is elastic, you must reduce price so that your revenue go up. But when your demand is inelastic, you must increase price so that your revenue go up. Now we are not talking about profit, we are talking about revenue first. Okay? The revenue up doesn't mean profit must up one. Alright? But the idea is at least you see that revenue financially is better. Because if you give it one company revenue drop, then revenue drop already. So you feel like wow, business is not so good. So it's like usually they will need to take into account their revenue. So from here we can understand that based on this, it will actually be on revenue basis. It will be good to reduce price when the thing is elastic. And it will be good to increase price when the thing is inelastic. Okay. So if the management understand the elasticity has an impact on your revenue when you want to increase or reduce price, then you must know from management point of view what make things elastic or inelastic, so that you can plan your strategy properly when you want to do something. Okay, so I'll do this as the last part, then I'll give you a lunch break. Page 98. Okay. Now we discussed a bit about what make demand inelastic. Because generally demand are elastic. Alright, most of the product demand are elastic. It's very hard to make demand inelastic, because to make demand inelastic means I increase the price, so you still need to buy. So that's why you find that this sort of thing is a bit rare, but you must know why. Okay. Now one of those products that they'll be inelastic is because these fall into necessity, something that you need. Okay, something that you need, you must use one. Just like for example your oil like that. Okay, oil price go up, you also buy. Oil price go down, also you buy. Oil price go down, you got buy more or not? You got go home, take your tank and pump more and keep a few tong at home. You don't do that. You don't have the capability to keep. That's why because of that, no choice. Go up or go down, to us is life goes on. We still use the same amount of oil. Okay. Now necessity is like that. They're inelastic. Now something that is negligible to your spending. Okay, something that is negligible to your spending. So what do you mean by negligible to your spending? Okay, I take an example here like salt. You know one packet of salt how much or not? When you buy salt, you got buy salt before or not? You buy salt, you buy in what? Kilo. You don't eat kilo of salt one. Okay, you eat like that, you die very fast. Normally one salt, one packet like 100 gram only. Very small packet one. Okay. If the salt got no iodine, alright, then it's the cheapest salt. One packet, I don't know, maybe now is 1 ringgit or 90 cents. Now, let's say the salt is 1 ringgit. Suddenly, don't know why, salt price increased. Remember there was once there was no salt. When the Japan earthquake, everyone start to tell you that you eat more iodine salt, iodinized salt, so that you will have enough iodine in the body, so that your body will not go and suck the radioactive iodine. So this is one way to prevent your thyroid cancer. Okay, so people all go and buy that kind of salt. That was through iodine. So but actually iodine we need very little only. That's why the salt is good enough already. Okay, now, but anyway, let's say the salt price increase. $1 increase to $3. Scary, huh? Scary, huh? $1 to $3, no? It's 200% more. Will you ask Anwar Ibrahim, Lim Guan Eng, go to Stadium Merdeka and do a protest? Because the government increased the salt price from 1 ringgit to 3 ringgit. You won't, right? You don't care lah. How much salt you eat, correct? No? But if I tell you the sugar price is 1 ringgit a kilo, increase to 3 ringgit a kilo, will you do protest? You will, because this is something that you need to use more often. That's why negligible thing, people don't care. Right? So if you apply this into strategy, for example, look at how Tony Fernandez, he factor his air ticket pricing. My air ticket, I can give you 99 ringgit. Yo, you go crazy, you go and buy. So you're very sensitive with the price of the air ticket. But are you very sensitive with the price of the weight for the bag? You are not. And you notice or not, over the year he has been increasing the price of the bag. Last time if you take AirAsia X, I think they still got 15 kilo one. After that no more. He increased straight to 20 kilo. Now I think 20 also no more, right? Got or 25, I don't know, I can't remember. So I know he cut away one. And the price of the weight now is more expensive than last time. But people don't feel it. Because they thought the ticket is the main thing. The weight is not. So that's why he's very smart. He increased the weight, then he don't disturb the price of the ticket. So he still make the profit there. So that is how people make things inelastic. If you increase the ticket price, immediately you feel it. That's why you say all this promotion strategy very stupid one. Right? Tell you it's $9.99, you until the end is 200 ringgit. Because of all the charges that they do. So this is how businessmen make use of this kind of strategy. Okay. Now anything that you have a substitute, it becomes very elastic. Because I have a choice. So I don't buy this product, I buy another product. Okay. That's why you see when your palm oil price drop, the soya oil also drop. Because if people don't eat palm oil, they can eat soya oil. So if soya oil is cheaper, then they don't buy palm oil. So you find that corn oil, sunflower oil, all like that, they are all substitutes. So that's why when one price is changing, the other one will be affected. But when you have something that there is no substitute, very hard to get substitute, then it's very inelastic. An example is nature of services. Now usually service industry like beautician, doctor, they're inelastic. That's why when you are sick or you need to do operation, you want to go for all these famous doctors, correct? Now the famous doctor tell you, at one time I operate you 30,000, you don't pay. You also pay, right? He tell you 50,000, you also pay, right? That's why you realize this type of thing, there's no price value on. No matter how much they charge, you still pay. Why? You want that doctor. He's famous, there's no replacement. So that's why you must ask yourself, if you're in a business, what else can you offer as a competitive advantage that people cannot offer? Okay? So example, what can you offer as a competitive advantage that people cannot offer to you, that you become better? For example, let's say you find that their company, they offer this service. Your car battery fail. Your car battery fail, normally at home you go and change that one, no problem. But you know, you fail at the most unreasonable time. You want to go out or you already outside You want to start the car, engine cannot start. You don't know how to come home, right now? Now, in that kind of situation, what do? You need people to help you. Now, there's this company offer you 1 hour service, guarantee arrival. But the battery normal price is 250. We charge 330. You buy or not? You also buy, right? Well, you have no choice. Okay, I need help. This is the problem that we see here. So that is the issue. Here we are looking at something no substitute. Now we are looking at market information. Now when market information is very strong, okay, market information is very strong, that information travel very fast. Now we call this as perfect market. Okay, now when you have a perfect market, that information travel very fast. Okay, information travels very fast. Now then market demand become elastic. Okay, why? Because you have a choice. Now today price of petrol go up. If you know 1 week ago petrol price going up today, you would have earlier go and pump more and more petrol, right? And likewise, if you know petrol price next month will go down, and you know that 10 days earlier, what will you do? You don't want to pump already. I better wait, because 1-2 days later price will go down. Why I go and buy? Now the same thing will happen. You walk into a supermarket, you see 1 pack of Milo. The Milo is 30 ringgit. Now you don't care, you still buy one because you're there already. But before you walk into the supermarket, imagine you have a system, tap and apps, and they list down all the price, Giant, Jasco, everything for you. And then you type in what product you want to buy today. You key in all the 10 products, and then immediately they show you, if you buy Jasco, this 10 product, the price is 199 ringgit. You go Giant, it's 215 ringgit. You go to AMB, it's 187. If you got this service like that, which one you go and buy? Of course, the cheapest one, right? Now, if you got that kind of thing, what do you think about the pricing? Then all of them, no choice already. They have to make their price more or less the same. Why? Because if they don't do like that, you will definitely go to the cheapest one and buy, and you will not go to the expensive. They're going to lose out. But the question is, you have this kind of apps or not? Got lah? Huh? Got lah? I don't know. What app is that? Huh? Sorry? Smart user. Works or not? Updated or not? Oh yes, okay, we go and try. Okay, I don't know, I thought don't have. Okay, now, so this is what we say market information. That's why whenever a company, when they want to do promotion, they don't do quietly one. You see AirAsia, before they want to do sales, they send you email 1 week in advance, tell you we're going to do promotion. Why they do that? So that you get ready. So that now you don't go and buy Malaysia Airlines. You rather wait, right? This is why we make things elastic. So if you want to increase price, you do quietly. Do you send 1 week in advance and tell people we're going to increase price soon? You don't do that. You do it quietly because you don't want people to know. Okay. Now then the last one is, what is the position of the market player? Because normally if you monopolize the market, then you control the price because there's no other supplier except you, then the price becomes inelastic. Okay. Now these are those things that you just take into account. Okay. Right. So